Hi guys, it's Tim from memorywolf.com, and in this video we'll be looking at the Canon R8, that's this camera here, for which I've tested 24 different memory cards in camera to find out which cards perform best. Now, if you don't want to listen to me or don't like the look of my face, then simply look down below this video and you'll find links to purchase all of the cards that I recommend, as well as a link to my in-camera test article. Also, if you're a Canon R series shooter, then please do check out the rfshooters.com community forum that I also run. With that said, let's get started. So I'll be recommending cards for 3 different types of shooters. First, those who shoot action and lots of continuous bursts that require the buffer to clear as fast as possible. Second, still image shooters who mostly shoot single shots. And third, video shooters. So for you action shooters, you'll typically be shooting a lot of bursts and will want the buffer to clear as fast as possible, especially if you are shooting at the maximum frame rate of 40 frames per second that the R8 is capable of when using the electronic shutter. So you'll definitely want to go with one of the faster UHS-II SD cards that have 2 rows of pins and not one of the slower UHS-II cards or an even slower UHS-I card that only have 1 row of pins. My recommended card for the Canon R8 is the Kingston Canvas React Plus UHS-II card. Although this card came second in my in-camera speed tests, it was only fractions of a second slower when it came to clearing the buffer when shooting RAW plus JPEG large than the fastest Sony TUF card. I was also able to shoot more CRAW and JPEG images from the Sony card before hitting the buffer. At the time of recording this video, a 128GB Kingston Canvas React Plus UHS-II card will cost you around $80 at B&H Photo. This compares to around $190 for the Sony SFG TUF 128GB card. The Kingston card allowed me to shoot 54 RAW images at 40 frames per second before hitting the buffer, and it cleared those images in 7.41 seconds. Shooting CRAW, I shot 139 images before hitting the buffer, which it cleared in 12.26 seconds, and shooting large JPEGs, I shot 160 images before hitting the buffer, which cleared in 11.18 seconds. The Sony SFG TUF card also allowed me to shoot 54 RAW images before hitting the buffer, and it cleared those images in 7.25 seconds. Shooting CRAW, I shot 128 images before hitting the buffer, which cleared in 10.88 seconds, and shooting large JPEGs, I shot 145 images before hitting the buffer, which cleared in 10.05 seconds. I would really only recommend the Sony SFG TUF card if you work in harsh environments and require the most durable cards. However, due to its tough construction, it's a fairly tight fit in the memory card slots of the R8. At least it is the first few times it's inserted, then it seems to loosen up. Now, I've never had one get stuck, but I'm not going to completely rule it out. If you look at my test results, then you'll see that the top 10 UHS-II cards that I tested are very similar in terms of performance. When shooting in RAW, there's less than a 1 second difference to clear the buffer between the Sony card in spot 1 and the Delkin card in spot 10. So you may simply wish to go with your preferred brand name from the top 10, because when shooting the field, I don't think you're going to notice the difference in speed. If you'd like to see all of my test results, which I've shot in every file format that the R8 supports, then you'll find a link to my article down below this video. There are simply too many numbers to include in this video, and I don't want to bore you more than is necessary. Now, for still shooters, there is really no benefit to purchasing a fast UHS-II SD card if you're never hitting the buffer. The only benefit you will see is when copying images back to your computer, which can be roughly 3 times faster with a UHS-II card compared to UHS-I. So my recommended UHS-I card is the Kingston 128GB Canvas Go, which costs around $17 at B&H Photo at the time of recording this video. Alternatively, the SanDisk 128GB Extreme Pro UHS-I card costs around $25 or the Delkin Devices 128GB Advantage UHS-I card costs around $30. These cards are very similar in terms of performance, and with so little difference in price, you may simply wish to go with your preferred brand name. Again, if you'd like to see all of my UHS-I in-camera test results, then you'll find a link to my article down below this video. And for you video shooters, a V60 rated or faster UHS-II card will cover you for all of the video modes that the R8 supports. I'd recommend the Sony SFM V60 UHS-II card, which costs around $60 US for a 128 gig card at B&H Photo at the time of recording this video. You can also get a 256 gig and a 512 gig version of this card. However, whichever card you buy, please make sure that it's 64 gig or larger in capacity, since these will be SDXC cards. 32 gig and lower capacity cards are labelled SDHC and use a FAT32 file system, which will split your movies into 4 gig chunks. And that's it for now. If you found this video helpful, please do hit the like and subscribe buttons, and don't forget to check out the links to purchase all of the cards I mentioned in this video down below. Also, please do check out the rfshooters.com community forum that I also run for Canon R series shooters. Until next time, happy shooting.